Hey, and welcome to a Ben review. Today we're talking about Edgar Wright's latest film, Baby Driver. Right off the bat, I want to say I'm a huge fan of Edgar Wright. In my eyes, he's the GOAT. Probably my favorite director of all time. So I'm going to break this review into two sections. I'm going to have a spoiler-free section and a spoiler section. So right off the bat, we're going to start with the non-spoiler section. So don't feel like I'm going to reveal any, you know what spoilers are. I don't need to explain myself. But going right into things, first off, I want to talk about Edgar Wright's style and how it transitions into this kind of movie. Now, usually Edgar, his films will predominantly be comedy with the subgenre being something else. I would say Shaun of the Dead is more of a comedy than it is a horror film. It's a comedy horror. Hot Fuzz is a comedy first, action movie second. The World's End is comedy first, science fiction second. And Scott Pilgrim is comedy first, superhero movie second. And for the first time, I would say Baby Driver is drama, crime first, comedy second. So it's kind of interesting to see his editing and his shot style used in a genre that isn't predominantly comedy. It's refreshing, honestly. It's really interesting. The movie has a very, very unique feel that I can't really compare it to anything, honestly. I mean, yes, Edgar Wright's previous films are comparable. I just mean his style with this kind of film, with this genre, is very unique. Yes, there are movies like Drive, which have very similar plots, but that's not the point. What I'm saying is that a movie that's kind of this lighthearted, and with his editing, and with his shots, and, you know, with his kind of storytelling, and his very witty dialogue, and this kind of a movie, I'm having a hard time trying to think of anything to compare it to, so it does have a very unique feel. I really like everything. It flows so nicely. The movie just, and this is something that I think is in all of Edgar's movies, is that it doesn't really give you a break. It just kind of keeps on flowing. It doesn't ever really give you a chance to breathe. Everything kind of seems important. Everything just keeps going along. The movie never really takes a moment where you're kind of like, I don't really think this scene is necessary. There's portions in the middle of the movie where I think it almost starts to drag, so it's not like, this is great, but it's still good. I would say the first half hour of the movie is great. It's phenomenal. And then the middle portion of the movie, I would say, is just good. It's really good, but it's nothing. It doesn't have the same kind of attention grabbing, and it almost sounds like I'm criticizing it for that, but I'm not. I'm just saying that as far as the beginning and the end of the movie are the most captivating, and the middle of it definitely is a little bit slower, but not slow. Like, I don't like saying it like that because it sounds like a negative, but it's not. It's just, it's not as gripping as the latter halves of the movie are, the beginning and the end. But that's still not to say that it's bad. It's still really good. The chase scenes are brilliant. I haven't had this much fun watching a car chase in a very long time, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's not all CGI. There are real cars here getting into real car accidents, and we have real stunt drivers doing stunts. And to me, that always just adds to the movie-going experience. It makes it much more fun when you actually think people are in danger, and when you can actually tell that a little bit of skill went into what is going on screen. Not to say that CGI doesn't take any sort of talent, it's just that there's a difference between watching something that is clearly not real and something that is real. And I know that's kind of like a really generic thing to say, like, oh, I don't like CGI, but it really does, to me, feel better when it's real. And that was really nice to watch, is that all of these cars actually being driven, and you don't really see that often. I can't think, like, Fury Road had it, and Fury Road is one of my favorite movies of all time. And, you know, Baby Driver, I'm gonna go watch it again. You know, I'm feeling really good about this one. Like, the car scenes are really exhilarating. I think the cast does a really great job. Jamie Foxx is great as this kind of off-the-wall crazy guy. Like, that's his character, and I like it because he feels like a guy, he wants to be the crazy guy, and he enjoys being the crazy guy, so he kind of plays it up. I think that makes his character really interesting. John Hamm plays this very, I don't want to say mysterious, but more, he's not showing all of his cards. He has two sides to his character. I won't get too much more into that. And then, I don't remember the female actress's name. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else. I probably could have done a little bit more research beforehand. I'll put it in the bottom. But she does a great job as well. She plays, like, the sexy but dangerous character, and she does a very good job at that. And then there's Ansel Elgort, who plays Baby, and he's great. Honestly, like, while I was watching the movie, there's a moment in the movie, minor spoiler, nothing to that's revealing too much of the plot, but there's a moment where it's black and white and it kind of looks like the 1950s. It's sort of this dream sequence, and when I'm watching it, I'm like, Ansel Elgort he's making me feel like he's a James Dean in a way. Like, he's a pretty boy, but he's doing, he's learned how to drive stick, and he's kind of this badass character with a good heart. So it made me think of like Rebel Without a Cause in a way. So now we're going to move on into the spoiler sections, where I'm going to talk about a few more specific scenes from the movie. But right before we do that, I'll just give a little review on a scale of 1 to 10 on what I thought of the movie. So if you want to stop here, you'll know what my overall is. So upon my first viewing, I think I'm going to feed it an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's really close to getting that 9, and a 9 I don't hand out too often in my own personal reviews, but the movie really is that good. Like, I cannot wait to watch it again. After watching it, I was debating, I had work, so I couldn't go watch it a second time, but I really wanted to just walk right back into the theater and watch it back to back. It's a lot of fun. I think it's the most fun I've had watching a action movie since Mad Max Fury Road. And probably the most fun I've had watching a movie, just the best feeling I've had watching a movie since La La Land. So one thing that I really like about the character Baby is that he never kills anybody that, doesn't kind of deserve it in a way. He kills 2 characters in the movie. He kills Bats, who's played by Jamie Foxx, and he kills John Hamm's character, I'm forgetting his name right now, in the movie. But those are the only 2 people he kills. He doesn't kill the female villain because, I don't know, I mean, like, I guess that's still kind of frowned upon. Men shouldn't hit women is kind of still the same mindset, so he doesn't kill her. He only ever kills the 2 male characters who are very, very kind of dastardly criminals, and I think that's great. He saves lives, he treats other human beings well. There's a scene where he gives an older woman a purse after stealing her car, and then he apologizes. He even goes as far as to save another woman's life from going into the bank where the robbery is taking place. You really get the sense that he's a good guy. He's a reluctant villain, in a way. He's not a villain, but he does bad things. He's a criminal. And what I think really works is that he still gets some comeuppance for his crimes. He is a criminal. So at the end of the movie, major spoiler, he gets arrested, and he goes to jail, and he serves his sentence, and then he gets out on parole because he's a good guy. But that's important. I think that is really important that he did get caught and he did go to jail because he did commit crimes, and it kind of makes his character, like, not that it makes him more likable, but it definitely makes him, he gets what he deserves. And I to me, that's important because you shouldn't get away with doing bad things. That's something that's really common in horror films, is that all the characters that do something illegal, smoke weed, have premarital sex, that's not illegal, but it's just a trend, they all get whacked. No character that does something bad should get out scot-free, and Baby doesn't. But it's still not as bad as you'd think. It's not a sad ending that he goes to jail, because he does make parole, as they say. I think he spends 5 years in prison and then he gets out. And then you see that it is a happy ending in the end, and that's really great. One of the strengths the movie has is that the relationship between Deborah and Baby feels real. They do a really great job. They have an amazing chemistry together, and you really just want to see them escape. As I said earlier, I do think that it's important that Baby did have some comeuppance. He served his time for doing the crime. But there's a part of me as well that really wanted to see them escape into Mexico. And I don't know, like, they just worked really well together. They were adorable at times. They were funny at times. They played off each other really well. As I said, great chemistry between the characters. Kevin Spacey gets to kick some ass, and that was a lot of fun to watch. He gets to gun down some dirty cops at one point in the movie, and I really loved that moment. And yeah, I can't recommend the movie enough. It's a lot of fun. Just to wrap things up, I want to say the movie has a ton of great moments, whether that be Jamie Foxx getting impaled on rebar through the car windshield, Kevin Spacey getting run over with a car. Pretty much all the car chases are great. There's the Michael Myers moment, which is in the trailers, which was a lot of fun. The soundtrack is amazing, and it's just a great movie all around. I really loved it. I can't wait to see it again, and I hope this review convinced you to go out and watch The Baby Driver.